Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, what happened to the hair I used to be proud of? One morning, you combed your hair as usual, but this time, there was more hair stuck in the brush. Your hair was no longer as bouncy as it used to be. Every time you looked in the mirror, you no longer saw the energetic woman you once were, but a tired, unfamiliar version of yourself. You are not alone. After the age of 60, your hair, your silent companion, begins to change. It thins. It becomes dry. The color fades. Yet strangely enough, we still cling to the same old hairstyles and hair care habits from our teenage years, hoping to hold on to a part of our youth that has long since passed. I am Richard, a hairstylist with over 40 years of experience in major salons in California. I don't just cut hair. I help women find themselves again. And today, I'm going to take you on an emotional journey, 11 chapters about the common mistakes women make with their hair over 60, and how to overcome them. This isn't just a story about hair. This is a story about the rebirth of faith, starting with a mirror and ending with a real smile. 1. When hair thins, and trust is broken. One Monday morning, I stood in my Seattle salon, as usual, brushing off the round brushes, hairsprays, and hair dryers that were still steaming from previous clients. The morning light sneezed through the large glass windows, reflecting off the neat, streamlined filters. And then she walked in, Margaret. Richard, her voice was so soft I could barely hear it. Good morning, Margaret. You look. She interrupted me with a red-rimmed look, then gently pulled her wool cap off her head. I was putting it on. Her hair, once thick, dark brown, and shiny, was now clearly visible in patches of scalp. Thinning. Slowing. Lifeless. My hair, it's not mine anymore. I don't recognize the woman in the glass, Margaret said, her lips trembling. She is a retired headmistress, who used to point out her hairline. But now, she thinks she still enjoys social gatherings, even going out. The truth is rarely spoken out loud. Women after 60 often face a hidden suffering, thinning hair, visibly thinning hair. In my 40-plus years in the profession, I have heard women meditating to me the same thing Margaret did. Why am I so limp and lifeless now? The answer is not in the conditioner, not in the comb or in the stress. It is in the hormones. After menopause, estrogen, the hormone that helps hair grow healthily, drops sharply. Each hair that grows back is thinner and weaker. The hair growth cycle is also shortened. Hair that is not responding well falls out. And blood flow to the scalp is reduced. No matter how well cared for it is not enough. This is not your fault. This is biology. But if you don't get it right, you'll lose the whole thing. Margaret's story, and transformation. After listening to Margaret's story, I gently touched her hair, probing each strand. We'll start over, I said. I'm afraid I don't suit short hair, she whispered. I'm not cutting it short. I'm going to make your hair come alive. We chose a medium-length cut, with subtle layers that would create a thicker reaction. Instead of heavy silicone products, I used a light mousse, a volumizing spray that added volume from the roots. And after she agreed to consult a doctor, I recommended biotin and vitamin D, two extremely effective nutrients for middle-aged hair. 6 weeks later, color allowed. I'll never forget the day Margaret returned. She wore a navy blue floral dress, light pink lips, and soft waves. She smiled brightly. I just had my first dinner party in over a year. Everyone complimented me on how beautiful my hair looked, like I was 50 again. I saw in her eyes something that salons can't sell, joy of life. The biggest mistake, silence. Women often try to keep their hair neat with clips, hats, or by being silent. But that is the first mistake. Not realizing, not speaking up, not taking action, you are letting your confidence fade away, just like each hair falling from your scalp every day. But everything can change. Start with a simple step. Accept the change is real, and find the right way to love your own hair. 2. When hairstyles become the shackles of a bygone youth. I remember Barbara well, a woman with a classic gentleness that seems to have stepped out of an 80s movie. When she walked into the salon, she wore a beige cashmere sweater, pearl earrings, and her hair was curled like spaghetti. Nothing had changed since I first met her, nearly 20 years ago. Hello Richard, I just need to curl it back to the way it was. Her voice was soft, but her eyes were hesitant. A fond memory, but sometimes a hindrance. Barbara, 68, is a retired nurse. She told me that she started wearing her hair this way in 1986, my husband liked it. She smiled, but it was a little crooked. Because, her husband had died 3 years ago. I asked quietly, Barbara, do you still like this hairstyle? She was silent. Her eyes looked in the mirror. Her hands tightened on the strap of her handbag. I don't know. I think I'm afraid, if I change my hairstyle, I'll lose some of my memories. Habits that are no longer relevant, but we don't realize it. This is the second mistake I see a lot in women over 60. Backhand index pointing right, keeping the same hairstyle, not because it's still beautiful, but because we used to be beautiful when we had it. We associate hairstyles with memories. When he first confessed his love. When we got our first job. When our daughter said, "Mom is as beautiful as an actress." But did you know? Hair also has an aesthetic lifespan. A hairstyle that made you stand out in the 80s might be making you look old and tired in 2025. Signs of a dated hairstyle. I often ask my clients 3 things. The styling time has increased but the results are not as good as before? Are you using more products but still feeling flat and unruly? Has it been a while since someone complimented your hair? If you nod at least twice, it's time to rethink your hairstyle. Small changes, big transformations. I didn't ask Barbara to cut it short or completely redo it. I kept the curls soft, but loosened them, created natural volume, and cut layers that hugged the face to soften them. I chose a shoulder length, familiar enough, but different enough for her to feel refreshed. 2 weeks later, I got a call from an unfamiliar number. It was a man. "Richard? I'm Barbara's son. I just wanted to say, thank you. I don't know what you said or did, but my mom had music playing in the kitchen yesterday. For the first time in over a year." And the next morning, Barbara was back at the salon, this time to dye her hair a light caramel color. "I think it's time to move on," she laughs. Keeping your old hairstyle doesn't make you younger, it makes you stand still. No one says you have to cut it short, lighten it, or follow TikTok trends. But a little change, a softer cut, a better parting, can brighten up your face and open your heart to a new version of yourself. Because your hairstyle isn't just about your hair, it's about the conversation you have with yourself in the mirror every day. 3. When hair color doesn't flaunt your skin, it tells your age. I've always believed that hair color is the frame of your face. And the sad thing is, many women over 60 still use a frame from 3 decades ago. Janet's story, and the hair dye box of memories. Janet walked into the salon on a winter afternoon in Boston. Her hair was dark, almost black, but you could see her white hairline clearly, like a cut across her forehead. She was 71, but her hair looked like that of a 30-year-old girl. "I've always dyed it at home, for 25 years. It's the color my husband loved." She smiled slightly, but her eyes moistened when she mentioned him, who passed away 3 years ago. I asked, "When was the last time you saw yourself truly beautiful in the mirror?" She was silent for a long time, then whispered, "I don't remember." Why does dark hair make you look older? Here's a little-known fact. Backhand index pointing right, your skin changes as you age, but many people keep their hair the same color. After 60, skin begins to lose its pigment, becoming thinner, lighter and less elastic. A hair color that is too dark, like jet black or dark brown, contrasts too strongly with the skin, highlighting wrinkles, age spots and eye bags. Worse, keeping your hair dark makes your gray hairs stand out, creating a so-called skunk line, a clear line between real and fake, causing people to unconsciously focus on the worst part. Tips for Janet: recolor, refind yourself. I didn't tell Janet to bleach, nor did I force her to dye it bright blonde. Instead, I suggest, keep the natural silver on top. Add a layer of pinkish silver highlights on the temples, creating a soft color transition. Choose a light ash beige tone to neutralize her fair skin. And especially, recommend her to use a light purple shampoo, to keep the silver from turning yellow. When Janet looked at herself in the mirror after finishing, she didn't say anything. She just reached out to touch her hair, then her cheek. "My skin looks brighter, right?" "Not just my skin. You too." I laughed. The change was not only in her appearance, but also in the way she walked. 2 months later, Janet sent me a selfie with her granddaughter. Slightly tilted, warm smile, sparkling light reflecting off the pinkish silver hair. The accompanying message had only one line. "It's been a long time since I let anyone take a close-up photo of me." So how do you choose the right hair color after 60? Don't choose a hair color based on your memories. Choose according to your current skin tone. Small blue diamond if your skin is warm, yellow, orange, honey brown. Try light caramel, chestnut brown, light copper. Small blue diamond if your skin is cool, pink, pale white. Try ash gray, light silver, moss brown. Small blue diamond if your skin is dark. Try chocolate brown with burgundy undertones, black with purple undertones, or copper brown balayage. Avoid blocky dyes, one color all over, as they can easily create a fake, lifeless look. Instead, choose light highlights, ombre transitions or gray blending. They are both luxurious, easy to care for, and don't show your roots. Don't be afraid of silver, know how to play with it. I once had a client, she called her silver strands traces of experience. If you decide to keep your silver hair natural, don't let it get dull or yellow. Take care of it with a specialized silver serum and purple shampoo 1 to 2 times a week. Properly cared for silver hair shines like platinum, making you look natural, sophisticated and more luxurious than ever. 4. When old products aren't for your hair anymore. Susan was once a busy woman. At 67, retired after more than 30 years as a human resources director, she brought with her not only her management skills, but also her hair care habits from the days when she wore office dresses every day. She sat down in my salon chair, smoothing her well-combed hair. I don't understand why my hair is so greasy these days, not as bouncy as before. I still use the same shampoo, conditioner, moisturizer as when I was 50. She emphasized the word correct, as if that was enough to prove that her hair couldn't be wrong. I smiled. The problem isn't the way you care for your hair, it's that your hair isn't the same anymore. Hair after 60 equals a complete change in structure. After 60, hair doesn't just turn gray, it also changes its biological structure. Small blue diamond hair becomes thinner and more porous. Small blue diamond scalp produces less oil, leading to dry, tangled hair. Small blue diamond hair absorbs nutrients completely differently when you are younger. Backhand index pointing right, the products you used to trust for the past 10 to 20 years may now be weakening your hair. The 3 most common mistakes when choosing hair care products at age 60 plus. Crossmark 1. Using shampoos with strong sulfates. Most popular shampoos contain sodium lauryl sulfate, a very strong detergent. When you are young, your scalp produces a lot of oil, you need this substance to clean it. But now? They strip away the little natural oil left, making your hair dry, brittle, and tangled. White heavy checkmark solution. Use a sulfate-free, gentle shampoo with natural extracts such as aloe vera, almonds, or oats. Crossmark 2. Using a conditioner or cream that is too heavy. I once saw Susan use a conditioner that was so thick it felt like peanut butter. She said, "It used to make my hair shine right away." I sighed. At 60 plus, formulas containing heavy silicones, fatty butters, or thick coconut oil will make your hair sticky, lose volume, and look like it hasn't been washed. White heavy checkmark solution. Use a light conditioner labeled volumizing for fine or aging hair. Apply only to the ends of your hair, not directly to your scalp. Crossmark 3. Believe in 2-in-1 products. Combined shampoos and conditioners may sound convenient, especially for those who are impatient. But in reality, they often leave a waxy film on your hair, which builds up over time, making your hair look heavier, duller, and harder to style. White heavy checkmark solution. Break it down. Gentle shampoo. Silicone-free, light conditioner. A serum or mousse specifically for fine hair if you need styling. Refresh your hair care regimen, a start to a new hair look. After listening to my analysis, Susan agreed to change products. I gave her a simple trio. A sulfate-free, oat-based shampoo. A light conditioner for fine hair. A non-alcoholic volumizing mousse. And a specialized gray-protecting spray to keep her light hair from looking dull. 2 weeks later, Susan returned. She smiled, her eyes brighter than before. "Richard, my hair is wavy again. My daughter thought I had just gotten a perm. I only changed 3 things like you said." She walked out of the salon, her head held high. And I know, sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference. Our advice. Read labels carefully. Avoid parabens, sulfates, heavy silicones, mineral oils. Favor natural, gentle ingredients that work well with fine or gray hair. And don't be afraid to switch up your products if they don't work for you anymore. 5. When you stop cutting your hair, and your hair begins to stop living. Patricia walked into my salon on a rainy March morning. She was wearing an ash-colored coat, walking slowly, her hair past her shoulders, thin, wiry, and split like the last straw of the season. She hadn't had a haircut in over 14 months. "I'm growing my hair out," she said. "I think, cutting it will take away the length I want to keep." I nodded, but sighed inside. An old misconception, cutting equals losing hair. After turning 60, many women start to shy away from cutting their hair. Fear of thinning hair that won't grow back. Fear of regretting it after cutting it. Fear of not looking good with short hair. Or simply, not caring anymore. But the truth is, not cutting your hair doesn't make it grow longer, it just makes it worse. Why is not cutting your hair regularly so harmful? Red triangle pointed down, split end spread back. A split end will continue to crack up the hair shaft, making the whole strand weak and brittle. Red triangle pointed down, loss of shape, loss of control. The hairstyle will gradually lose shape, lose its face-hugging, voluminous look, making you look lifeless and sloppy. Red triangle pointed down, hair gets thinner every month, hair breaks and falls out more. the overall look is thinner and more damaged. Red triangle pointed downward psychology. When you see yourself as not beautiful, you will be afraid to brush your hair, afraid to look in the mirror, and gradually give up loving yourself. Patricia's story, and the awakening of half an inch of hair. I didn't advise her to cut it short. I just suggested. Cut exactly half an inch, but all the way through. And come back every 10 weeks. She hesitated. But then nodded. 3 months later, she returned with hair that looked, not much longer, but smooth, shaped, and alive. She laughed. I thought I was keeping my hair, it turned out I was keeping my fatigue. And what touched me the most? On her 3rd visit to the salon, her daughter, an extremely busy person, came with her and gave her a small bouquet of flowers. She said, "You're beautiful again. You're happier. You're taking care of yourself again." Practical advice for women over 60. White heavy checkmark short, medium hair, cut every 4 to 6 weeks to keep the shape. White heavy checkmark shoulder length hair or shorter, cut every 8 to 10 weeks, lightly trim the ends, keep hair healthy. White heavy checkmark whether grown long or left natural, hair needs to be cleaned regularly, like a garden. Light bulb tip. No need to cut it in a fancy style. Just a neat and tidy haircut that fits your face will make you look different. Hair cutting, not to look younger, but to show that you are still living fully, with yourself, not ignoring yourself. 6. When heat burns your hair silently, a little at a time. I have met hundreds, even thousands, of women who once had thick, shiny hair like the shampoo commercials advertised. But after just a few years, they returned to the salon with a disappointed look on their faces, saying the same thing. My hair is no longer manageable. It's dry, brittle, even though I take good care of it. When asked, 90% of them say the same thing. I blow dry my hair every morning. Then I curl it or flat iron it a little to keep it neat. Ellen is a prime example. Damaged hair, but not genetic. Ellen, 66, used to be a fashion editor. Her hair has always been her personal brand, straight, shiny, and neat. But since retiring, she has kept up her morning routine, straightening her hair at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't leave the house with my hair puffy. It looks like I just woke up. She stroked her burnt ends, dry, and damaged hair as she spoke. I nodded, then took out a special magnifying glass and examined each strand of her hair. Each strand of hair was like a piece of paper that had been burned, porous, brittle, and no longer elastic. Why is heat more damaging than you think? After age 60, hair loses its natural protective layer, the thin layer of oil that once covered the hair. When you use a blow dryer, curling iron, or flat iron at temperatures between 300 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, the natural moisture in the hair core evaporates. The protein in the hair denatures, causing the hair to lose its structure. Hair becomes brittle, breaks easily, and is difficult to restore. Backhand index pointing right in particular, gray hair is much thinner and more sensitive than colored hair, so heat destroys it even faster. Ellen's solution, heat detox. I suggested Ellen try a heat detox, completely stop using heat for 6 weeks. No straightening, no curling, no hot blow drying. Just condition, brush, and let dry naturally. Her eyes widened. Do you know who I am, Richard? I used to fix my hair before taking out the trash. I laughed. I know. But Ellen, your hair used to be a brand. Now, let's make healthy hair the new symbol. 6 weeks without heat, and a different hair. I taught Ellen how to use light, alcohol-free mousse to create waves when damp. Large round brush to brush when hair is almost dry, for natural curls. UV protection spray to protect against the sun, instead of using a straightener. And every night, loosely braid hair before bed, remove in the morning for soft waves. After 6 weeks, Ellen is back to soft, bouncy hair. I didn't know my hair could look this soft. It's no longer forced, it's free. I replied. You can style without burning your hair. No need for high heat, you can still have beautiful hair in the following ways. Small blue diamond short hair, use light wax plus hand styling. Hair will hold its natural shape all day. Small blue diamond long hair, loosely braid when damp, leave overnight soft, natural waves. Small blue diamond thin hair, use self-adhesive rollers or water-based mousse, blow dry gently with cool air. Small blue diamond gray hair, side-parted brush plus volumizing mousse, keep it natural and elegant. Most importantly, backhand index pointing right, invest in heat protection if you really need to use a machine. Always spray before styling. Hair needs to be loved, not tamed. We women are used to controlling everything, time, work, family. But at some point, hair doesn't need to be controlled anymore. It just needs to be treated more gently, just like you need to slow down and be gentler with yourself. 7. When your hair doesn't stay straight, it might be because you're going against its natural direction. Have you ever experienced this feeling? In the morning, you wash, brush, and style your hair. Everything seems fine. But just a few hours later, your hair starts to fall flat, part out of place, curl up in the wrong direction, or stick together in clumps that look like they haven't been washed. And then you get frustrated, thinking to yourself, my hair is really stubborn these days. No, it's not. Backhand index pointing right, maybe you're just trying to force your hair to go against the way it's meant to go. Hair growth direction, each person's secret fingerprint. Each of us has our own unique hair growth system, just like a fingerprint. Some people part naturally on the left. Some people have a strong whirl at the top of their head, causing their hair to stick up. Some people have a part of their hair that grows straight up in the front, making it difficult to comb down. In their 30s and 40s, when their hair is thick and heavy, you can pull it in the direction you want it to go. But after 60, when it gets thinner, lighter, and softer, it will always go back to its original direction, no matter how much mousse, gel, or curling iron you use. Dorothy's story, 78 years old, and 50 years of arguing against her whirl. Dorothy is a retired flight attendant. Her hair is thick, silvery, and cut short to her chin. But there's one thing that's special: she insists on a middle part, even though the whirl at the top causes her hair to always stick up on one side. I find that a middle part balances out my face, she says. But the reality is that every morning, she spends nearly 30 minutes just pressing the right side of her hair down, and by noon, it's standing up like nothing has ever happened. I told her, "You're trying to steer the river upstream, Dorothy." What did I do? Design the hairstyle to go with it instead of against it. Instead of a middle part, I suggested a slight left side part, in the direction of the natural part. The swirl is lightly hugged with a round layer, creating a soft, voluminous feeling. A little light mousse at the roots, but let it dry naturally, no pressing. After finishing, Dorothy took a long look in the mirror. It looks more natural. And I don't feel like my hair is fighting back anymore. She smiled, slowly saying, "It took me 50 years to realize that fighting is not always the right thing to do." 8. When your face has changed, but your hairstyle is still in the past. I once asked an older client of mine, "Have you ever looked at old photos and wondered, why was your face so full back then, and now, so different?" She chuckled and said, "It's not that my face has changed, it's that I don't realize I've changed." Time doesn't just affect your hair, it also rebuilds your facial structure. Did you know that after the age of 60, small blue diamond cheekbones gradually flatten? Small blue diamond jawbone soften, losing definition. Small blue diamond skin around the eyes and mouth sags slightly, making your face longer or squarer than before. Meanwhile, your hairstyle retains its old proportions. The hairstyle that once accentuated high cheekbones, covered up a wide forehead, or gave a youthful look to a small chin. Backhand index pointing right, and the result, the current face and the hairstyle no longer match each other. Catherine's story, and the transformation just by cutting to the right face shape. Catherine, 69, used to be an art teacher. Her hair is straight, shoulder length and cut blunt, evenly, parted in the middle, no layers. That's the hairstyle she has kept for nearly 20 years. Easy to style. Low effort. And serious looking. But Catherine feels increasingly pale and lifeless, even though she still dyes her hair regularly and takes care of it properly. I don't understand why my friends keep saying I look tired. I look closely at her face. The cheekbones are no longer full. The chin is more pointed. The jaw is slightly square. But the hairstyle is stuck at the face version of 20 years ago. I suggested a change, not a radical change, but a truer version of the current proportions. I kept the length, but added a slight layer down from the cheekbones, creating movement and a hug around the face. Parted slightly to the left, to break up the cheekbones. Cut a sideswept bang, covering her high forehead and brightening her eyes. Added a touch of caramel brown highlight, warming her skin. Catherine looked in the mirror, stunned. I feel like I'm back. 9. When your neat tie is secretly pulling your hair out every day. Jennifer was an executive. At 74, she still kept her style from head to toe: leather shoes, a classic watch, and a high bun tied back with a black elastic band. She came into my salon on a Wednesday. Her silver hair was tied back, exposing her forehead and temples. But what caught my attention wasn't her hairstyle. It was the shiny streak of scalp that was slowly spreading from her temples to the top of her head. "Am I balding, Richard?" Jennifer asked bluntly. Her eyes were both worried and embarrassed. "I've noticed that my hair has been thinning on the sides lately, and I've always worn my hair like this. Neat, professional." I examined it carefully. The hairs around her hairline were pulled so tight they were thread-like, and in some places they had fallen out and never grew back. Jennifer, you're not bald. You have traction alopecia. Traction alopecia, the silent killer of hair after 60. It occurs when the hair is pulled tightly over a long period of time. High ponytail. Braided close to the head. Tight bun with small elastic bands. Metal clips firmly fixed in the same spot every day. Right arrow. These habits create a constant pulling force, damaging the hair follicle and permanently weakening the hair root. In young people, hair can grow back. But after 60, the hair follicle is no longer strong enough to regenerate, and the hair loss can become permanent. Signs you may be pulling your hair out. Red triangle pointed down, itching, mild pain. 10. When a hair clip can change your whole day. Hair accessories, not just a decoration. Many women think that, when they don't have much hair left, or when they are old, accessories are just pretend, something for young girls. But the truth is completely the opposite. Backhand index pointing right. Hair accessories are not only to beautify the hair, they are also a spiritual therapy. They help you create highlights on the face, conceal thin or uneven hair, increase confidence when leaving the house, and above all, evoke the feeling of taking care of yourself. Diane and the silk scarf, starting with a highlight. I took a small silk scarf from the drawer, olive green, with a gentle beige pattern. I didn't do anything complicated. Just tied it lightly around Diane's head like a headband. The hair underneath is left loose. I add a little mousse to create ripples. She looks in the mirror, her eyes are surprised. I look like me when I was 50, when I was teaching art. Then she smiles. Not because I look younger, but because I see myself again. 5 hair accessories suitable for women over 60, and how to use them wisely. Diamond with a .1. Large claw clip. Neat, easy to use, does not pull hair. Suitable for low buns, half buns, holding hair for days at home or going out. Diamond with a .2. Silk scarf. Used as a headband, low ponytail, or wrapped around the bun. Helps cover thin hair, creating an artistic and elegant look. Diamond with a .3. Soft fabric headband. Suitable for thin hair, thin bangs. 11. When you forget to take care of your hair, you forget to love yourself. Hair, a small mirror of your inner life. You may think hair is a small matter. But after decades of working, I have realized one thing. Backhand index pointing right. The way a woman takes care of her hair often reflects the way she treats herself. Not washing her hair regularly. Not combing it. Not styling it. Not looking in the mirror for long. Not caring when her hair is tangled, gray, or thinning day by day. Not because she doesn't know how. Not because she doesn't have the means. But because she is used to taking herself for granted. The last story, Mrs. Marianne, and the first time she washed her hair in 9 months. Marianne, 82, lives alone in the suburbs of Portland. Children are busy. Friends are fading away. She has barely left the house for over a year. Her daughter made an appointment at the salon, without giving a reason. Marianne arrived with tangled, thick, greasy hair, with clumps of hair. I can't remember the last time I brushed my hair. I said nothing. I just started untangling it, gently, bit by bit. After nearly an hour, I finally reached her scalp. I washed her hair. Rinsed. Conditioned. Air-dried. No elaborate styling. Just clean, light, and soft. When hair is cared for, face changes. Marianne sat in front of the mirror. I put my hand on her shoulder. How do you feel? She blinked. It took a long time. I see me. Not because her hair was beautiful. But because someone, and she herself, remembered, she was still worthy of care. There are things we forget not because they are not important, but because we get used to the feeling that we are no longer a priority. Hair is one of those things. It is associated with combing our hair in front of the mirror, our first dates, a hair clip someone gave us years ago, or a random compliment that made us smile all afternoon. And then, over the years, those things are quietly replaced by busyness, by prioritizing others, by days when we just tie our hair up as a minimal courtesy to life. No one blames you for letting your hair grow old. But it would be a pity if you let your soul grow old with your hair. It is never too late to start over. A new hairstyle. A new perspective. A new feeling about yourself. You don't need to change to please anyone. As long as you feel worthy, that's enough. Small blue diamond, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so that this journey of loving yourself again doesn't stop at one story, but continues with many more beautiful moments.